I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby! Come on! Let's go!
How have I been this successful in life?
Oh, there we are. Shaun, might just be us today. Might just be us. We'll see. The Americans still nursing their...
That July 4th
does
damage. It does damage to these people, Brad.
I don't understand the Americans and their midweek holidays. I mean, if it's during the week, you just push it to the Monday or the Friday, and you give yourself a long weekend. I don't know. They need to figure some stuff out down there because this ain't working for us. It's not working for us. How are you doing?
Good. It's been a busy summer. It's
work-wise or otherwise?
Everything wise. I think it's extra tough. I don't know how you've been doing. I mean, obviously we knew last week you were at the cottage for a couple weeks.
Look at this tan. Look at this maple syrupy brown I got going on here. It's just beautiful.
Drinking beers on the deck all day. That'll do that for you. But yeah, it's when it's nice out, it's tough to watch some of these shitty cards. I've been slacking on some watching them live. The shitty thing is I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch Saturday live when it's actually a good card, because that is my anniversary date, which is fun. So I don't have first dibs on that day. We'll see how I can get out of that one. Congratulations.
Yeah. I feel like you, Lance, and I are all very close with our anniversaries because yours is coming up this weekend.
Is yours next weekend?
Is the 16th. So
and I think Lance is like right after
next Sunday. Yeah. I'm sure that the Chicas were rocking the patriotic red, white, and blue LR. That's what they've got to do, you know. Support. Even I was rocking my my Star Spangled sunglasses yesterday. Just support the cause. I know that Americans need all the help they can get these days.
I mean, mainly you were just supporting the greatest living American ever, correct?
He saved the country. I mean, there's no question about it. If the hot dog eating contest does not happen, just America goes up in flames. It's in complete shambles. And Joey Jaws says no, this will not pass. We're shoving these wieners down our throats in front of the world. And that's America.
Man, that photo, that screen cap of him just power walking back, telling him we're doing this shit. Just needed the Austin 316 glass break. That was the only thing better.
My God, that's Stone Cold's music. What a man. I definitely on the back end. I don't know how much of it was due to the circumstances. Everybody else was like right around their totals. I know Coach got some nice middles on a couple of the guys there. We missed another one by half a dog, and I'm convinced robot umps for the hot dog contest.
Need it
because I'm convinced that old Nick Wary got screwed out of at least half a dog, which would have put us in middle territory for him too. But okay, you gotta work with what you can get on Coney Island on July 4th. It's I'm sure it's a shit show there. Even more yesterday than a typical day.
Yeah.
What an event, though. Yeah, we'll see how much longer he sticks around. I don't know what the competitive prime of the greatest living American is, but I'm sure he's got 1 or 2 more left in him before somebody comes out there and takes over. But we're here to talk about MMA very briefly. Not hot dogs. Actually, before we get to the MMA, congratulations to my American friends for winning the World Lacrosse Championships in the fake lacrosse, the one that doesn't allow like hitting, and then guys use the stupid like 6-foot long sticks. That's dumb. Real lacrosse is inside a hockey rink on, concrete or a little like rolled out carpet. And you're allowed to just decapitate dudes. It's part of the game.
Canada got hosed, Brad. That's what you're telling me. That's what I was reading.
It wasn't a hosing, but there was certainly some questionable calls that even the American broadcasters were like, oof,
tough.
That was yeah. But anyway, we'll win all of the when it gets into the Olympics, Canada's gonna crush everybody in that version of lacrosse.
Countdown's on.
Not even
Let's
gonna be
go.
close. Anyway, MMA last week. I didn't watch it. I was up at the cottage, as you already alluded to. Many better things to do. I'm trying to think if I flipped it on for any of the fights. I did not.
It was a quick rewatch for me. There's a couple fights that are easily just skippable, and then there's a bunch of finishes. So
there you go.
It was easy to catch up. That's for sure.
A regional level card, you get regional level results. It looks like LR's foreshadowing. He's got Diamond Dallas Duplessis in the threesome bet of the week. So we'll see. And I don't think we're disagreeing too much in the co and the main. But I hope you get out of there safe and sound, brother.
Yeah.
Anyway, last week, quick recap. You're going to have to fill in the blanks for me here, Sean.
It'll be easy.
Alexander Romanov, unanimous decision over Blagoy Ivanov. I think I had a bet on that to go to split decision. Didn't seem to go that way. I heard it was 15 minutes of shitty Romanov boxing.
Yeah.
Luana Carolina defeated Ivana Petrovic. With a name like that, she should probably be playing tennis, not doing MMA. And also losing to Luana Carolina, she should probably be playing tennis, not doing MMA. Elvis Brenner. I think I didn't see the fight. I saw the finish to this one. Big upset. Training with Dubronx. He's
wild ass fight.
He's getting on the Dubronx Shoot the Bucks Diego Lima supplements. Elvis Brenner looking yoked up in there. 3rd round TKO over Guram, more like Buram for those that parlayed him. I think you avoided that landmine, right?
I did. I was looking at maybe Guram by decision, and just ended up passing. That was a wild fight. Guram's fun. I wish he had a little bit more cardio. I don't know if that's just a late notice thing or he's just got bad cardio, because he's got awesome offense, but it seems to wane at times. And Brenner's just a shit-eating wild man. He got sliced open so brutally in the first, and it obviously makes it look even worse with the platinum hair, just nasty. Dude got dropped and hit and was hurting in the first round. Still came out in the second round going wild, and man, he just caught Guram. It wasn't looking
The
good.
Bronx
Renner
has so much heart these days that it just his teammates absorb
can't
it
teach
by
that. Yeah,
osmosis.
it was an awesome fight. That one's definitely worth going back and watching.
I've got it on the PVR, so I'll make sure I go back and check that one out.
Yep.
I'm sure I will also want to check out Carol Hosa taking a split decision over Yana Kunit Santos. That happened. And then this is where we get into all the finishes. Joe Anderson Brito, first round TKO with some ground and pound against old Weston Wilson. Apparently that's a guy that fights in the UFC now. Renat Fakhretdinov, the 55-second guillotine choke over the returning Kevin Lee. I guess Kevin Lee is not, in fact, back.
So close to being back.
He looked on the scales. He looked like he was back, right?
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that always says look good getting off the bus, and then you get him. Normally it's a few minutes into the fight, not 55 seconds into the fight. But hey, what can you do? Nursultan Ruziboev and Bruno Ferreira. Ruziboev gets him with the counter right. 117 into the first round. I have no idea who either of these guys are.
The guy who got knocked out absolutely smashed RoboCop last time out.
Okay.
That was that guy. I kind of thought that Ferreira might have been something. He might still be something. He fucking got his leg caught and then just got absolutely drilled with a straight down the pipe. That was an awesome finish. Is this guy any good? I don't know. He did something cool though, so that's better than all these other guys that are shitty and don't do anything.
Something else cool that happened. Benoit Saint Denis with another big upset against Ishmael Bonfim. I think he was like plus 250 or something in this fight. First round rear naked choke, 448. Good for him.
Big dogs hitting on this card. It's yikes. Yeah, Saint Denis. He was wrestling and grappling, and it was working out for him.
He's not bad.
He's not bad. He's a lot better than I thought it would. I don't know. Going back, is the Elijah Dushku fight kind of just a late notice thing? Came off the couch or something? Like, he seems better, a lot better than what he showed in that fight.
Well, that one was short notice, and he got shit beaten out of him for the first 10 minutes, and then he hung in there and looked decent in the third round, even in that fight where he was getting killed. So there's something there, I think.
Yep. He's fun.
Shocker. Women's fight, split decision. Ariane Lipski takes it over Melissa Gatto. Fun fact, Gato means cat in Spanish. Yeah.
Did we got to just start straight just fucking blindly betting majority / split. Do they line those on every fight? Dude, we got 2 more on this card. Like, these are just low level shit. It's gonna happen. Like, nothing major is gonna happen for the most part. So
unless you've got a banger like Luana Carolina in there, and then she's gonna take a unanimous decision.
That's true, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad, and I'm pretty sure the what was the numbers on those? Like 400, 500? Like,
they're usually 450.
Like,
let's see. Lipski and DraftKings doesn't show up on there anymore. Fuck.
I know.
What's the archive like on Fight Odds?
I don't like to use it for that, but it's a
If you can find that, we'll get back to it, folks.
Yeah.
But anyway, betting the splits is profitable in the women's fights. Seems to be. Welterweight division, Michael Morales, decision over Max Griffin. That's a pretty good win for, what's Morales, like 23 years old or something?
Yep. He actually hurt Max Griffin, which is not easy to do. Couldn't put him away, but I don't think that's a bad thing to go 15 minutes when you're young like that against a tough guy to put away. That's a good win.
Yep. Co-main event. Grant Dawson grinds out, I assume, unanimous decision over Damir Ismagulov. The goo certainly wasn't on in this fight. I guess. I don't know. Didn't see it.
Well, of course, I bet Ismagulov, so that's why that happened. It was domination. Grant had 12 and a half minutes of control time in this fight. A lot of body triangle from back and not being able to finish, which is always a fun thing to watch. He was just way better. I thought Ismagulov's takedown defense could hold up a bit, but he got ragdolled there. It was ugly to see. He probably should have just stayed retired. And I'm an idiot for doubting Dawson because I've bet him a bunch in the past and then been doubting him recently as he's been making me pay.
I'm always the one that's supposed to doubt Dawson on this podcast.
I know.
And it doesn't work out for me either most of the time. So we'll see. I still think he's boring and unathletic and eventually going to reach an athletic ceiling. But hey, when they give you boring, retired pseudo Russians, that's probably a good way for him to keep making his way up the ladder. Main event. Yes, you heard that correct. Sean Strickland with a TKO over something called Abus Magomedov, who is apparently German.
Yeah.
None of this makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Fight Odds doesn't show that prop. Does Best Fight Odds show it at all? Like, maybe this is just a thing that doesn't show up anymore and they don't list it for some reason?
It's usually a DraftKings.
Okay. Yeah, so obviously, like, Fight Odds doesn't have a draft. So is that, like, the only book that puts that out?
I think a couple other... I'll scroll through and see what I can find.
Abus looked okay, but that's because he had to just throw everything he had, or else he would have got his face jabbed off. So he just threw a bunch of shit, never really hurt Sean Strickland, and gassed. And then Magomedov gassed like 30 seconds into round 2, and then Strickland was like, "Oh, I can just hit this guy," and he basically doesn't throw anything back. Something just volumed him to death, and that was a travesty of a main event. You can tell me Magomedov looked good in the first. That doesn't matter, man. Like, you're having a 5-round fight and you have 6 minutes of cardio. Like, you should be getting cut for shit like that. Like, that's bad.
This was this his second fight in the UFC?
It was, yep.
Okay. I thought I remembered saying his name before, but I don't actually.
He doesn't have a Wikipedia page. That's what
you gotta get to 3 fights in the UFC before you get a Wikipedia page. I think that's the rule.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll never get there. We'll have to find out.
Let's hope not.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to UFC 290 because I can actually say things about this card because, well, some fights because it's not bad. It's a good card. Maybe not worth buying, but worth watching. I don't know how one would go about watching it without buying it, but I'm sure our intrepid listeners will find a way. We'll dive right in. Lightweight division, and not going by the stupid Wikipedia.
Oh
Last
shit!
time I went by Wikipedia,
I know,
it was all
Wikipedia.
fucked up. So we're just going Tapology.
shit.
Camuela Kirk taking on Esteban Ribovics, who seems like he's probably from Latvia, but actually Argentinian? Question mark? What do we got here, Sean?
Yeah. This is pretty low level shit. If Kirk can get some takedowns, I think he'll do all right, but I don't really know much about this guy he's fighting. He got out grappled a shit ton, but also dropped the guy that kind of got crushed a couple weeks ago by what's his name, Rebechki.
Yep.
It's tough to know. I'll probably pick Kirk and Toutmaster, but I have no interest in betting this low level stuff.
Yeah, this just kind of seems like a couple of shit-eating wild men who are gonna go at it. I don't think that Ribovics is gonna have to worry too much about the wrestling of Kirk because it's pretty much non-existent. I think, if I'm remembering, he took Billy Q down a couple times on Contender Series, but that's Billy Q. I could take him down, so that doesn't count for shit. So I think it's going to be however long these dudes last, just slanging punches at each other. And in a fight like that, I'm going to side with the Hawaiian guy over the Argentinian, Latvian dude, because Hawaiian dudes have skulls made out of cinder blocks. So I think that's going to work out all right for Camuela Kirk in this one. Slight dog, not really interested in betting it at this point. Moving on down to the flyweight division, we've got Shannon. I can only assume his nickname is the Cannon Ross, taking on Jesus Aguilar. And his nickname is not the Cannon. It is the Turkish Delight, even though he's Australian. Sean, why are these people so confused? Do they get punched in the head for a living or something?
They do. And that might have some effect on the naming themselves or just generally things that they do when they're out in the wild. So you got to watch out for that. Shannon Ross is not good. Is Aguilar that good? I don't know. Obviously getting subbed by Taira is not the worst thing in the world. That guy's very good. He looked all right on the Contender Series. So I'm just picking against Shannon Ross because he's Shannon Ross.
Yeah, Shannon Ross has not had an easy road thus far in the UFC. Contender Series, he fought a flyweight that actually has some power. That Salvador dude just landed everything on him, which that's not a great sign. And yeah, it's hard to say what's going to happen in this one because two very different styles. I think if Aguilar decides to keep it on the feet here, then it's going to be competitive, but Ross has been dropped as a flyweight 4 times in 2 fights, a Contender Series fight and a UFC fight. That's not a great sign. So I guess I kind of have to side with the favorite in this spot because I don't think Shannon Ross has any sort of wrestling or grappling game that he can fall back on at this level. So Yeah, we'll go with Jesus Aguilar in this spot. And we'll move it on up to the bantamweight division. Cameron Saaiman, because they got to put all the South Africans on the same card. You can only afford one flight for all these
Cheaper
dudes.
flights, yeah.
Taking on Terrence Mitchell, who, very important, is considered the number one bantamweight coming out of Alaska. And we know what kind of fighters come out of Alaska.
Ooh, this is going to be interesting. This guy has got an interesting record. He's only been to one decision in 16 fights. Most of them ending in one round against guys that are very, very bad. So I get why Saaiman's a big favorite. It's tough to bet this. Under 1.5 is like -175. Saaiman TKO is like -140. I'm sure Saaiman. What's Simon's round 1? Like +125. I don't know. Those are pretty low prices. He should kill this guy, but I guess you'd want a little bit better prices on that angle.
He's the tear bear, though, Sean. No respect for the tear bear.
33-year-old man getting the nickname Tear Bear is interesting.
Do you think he comes out with the tear bear stare?
Ooh.
Eh? Some of the younger listeners might not know about the Care Bears and the Care Bear stare. You probably don't even know about that. You're probably too young
that
for
was right when I was
was
going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. The one thing, I mean, I'm gonna have to take the over on this. That's crazy for a 1.5 to be juiced under on flyweights. I assume this dude's coming in on short notice. Like this couldn't have been the original matchup.
No, it was not. It was definitely not.
So that I can see why it might go under because of that. But his 2 losses. One, he got finished by a slam. So, that could be any sort of weird thing. And the other one was decision. Usually when he's winning early. I don't think he's going to win this fight. But I don't necessarily think the 33-year-old grizzled tear bear is just going to fold up because some South African. Narrative time, white South African against black dude. You think he's just going to let himself get beat? You think he's just going to let himself get murdered by a white South African in the first round?
It's a bad look.
It's not good. So I'll probably take a look at the over in this one. See what we got cooking there. But certainly not a lot of confidence in that play. What did you say the 1.5 was?
It was -175 for the under.
Oh yeah, -1 or +140, +145 for the over. All day. The new skinny's gonna skinny. That's what that is. But yeah, Saaiman is probably gonna pile it up over the course of this fight. Light heavyweight division, the resurgent Marcin Prachnio. What's he won now? Like 3 of his last 4 or some stupid thing like that.
That's what happens when you fight the Isaac Villanuevas and the Khalil Roundtrees of the world these days.
And the Thick Willies. And he is taking on Vitor Petrino. I think that it is going to be 3 out of 5 for old Marcin Prachnio after this one. But Shaun, what say you?
Probably. Like Petrino, obviously, like he didn't look good against the Pleasure Man, and the Pleasure Man turns out is not good. I mean, I don't know. I've been fading Prachnio. It's not been working. Now, of course, he's a huge dog. Maybe this fight is closer than what the odds say. I can't get Prachnio just getting crushed by Mike Rodríguez and Sam Alvey out of my head, no matter the big W's he's been getting lately. So I'll side with Petrino. And I don't know, Prachnio's tough. He's been knocked out a couple times, so maybe we see the return of that old Prachnio chin that somehow has disappeared in the last 4 fights.
I was hoping for a better number, but Petrino round one KO. I think those are plus 135, plus 175.
Might take some time.
The plus 175 on round 1 KO, I don't hate that. Usually when Petrino gets it done, he gets it done pretty quickly. I know his last couple, obviously the last one went decision. His Contender Series fight against that guy that he was rematching, that one went to the second round. But a lot of his wins are very quick into the fights, and Prachnio is certainly a guy that can get clipped. So maybe I'll end up with a little something there. But yeah, again, not a lot to pick in that fight unless you want to get real specific on the props. We're going to go to a catch weight next. I'm not sure why this one's a catch weight.
Oh, well, because Taira weighed in, was that last weekend or the weekend before when his shit with Rodríguez got canceled? So,
gotcha. I knew he had something recently, so.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, that makes sense. What was that? 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So fair. They don't want to make him cut weight again, but I guess they also didn't want to make him fly back to Japan without fighting. So they found some guy, and that some guy is Edgar Cháirez.
Chairs.
In the streets, they call him 2 chairs.
He might be getting folded up by like a chair if Taira has his
lawn chair.
Which I do think he will. Taira's good. It sucks his fight got canceled because that was a bit of a step up. They're actually slow playing this guy, which I guess is not a terrible thing. UFC, I mean, we're gonna see this later on. UFC is really not interested in short notice booking guys that are already on their roster for the most part. I don't know what the reasoning for that is.
They don't have enough fighters on the roster, so you got to go outside the organization. 600 isn't enough. You got to get it up to like 604 to get those last couple dudes in.
I think they're being cheap fucks and they want to sign guys for fucking that are going to be making 10 and 10 instead of a guy saying, "Oh, can you give me an extra, $5-10 grand for taking this fight on short notice?
I'm already making 10 grand. Can I make 15? Fuck no."
Yeah. I think Taira grapples here and ends up getting a sub. It's not really surprising with the price that it is. I don't know if we've ever had a card with this many favorites being this big, but that's kind of the way that the UFC is right now.
Yeah. The chairs dude, he wasn't awful on Contender Series.
No.
But he also wasn't fighting a guy who is the quality of Tatsuro Taira. He is going to get taken down and get his back taken and get choked out. And even me being an idiot and wanting to look for like Taira TKO plus 600, something like that, it doesn't make sense here. He's going to choke this dude out. And I am not interested in paying minus 250 on a submission prop. So I think we're probably looking at another one where there's not a whole lot to be had. Even like the sub round 2 prop, if it got there, is only like plus 300. It's just not a whole lot of meat on the bone there for us, Sean. But
Terrible.
We'll see if we can find something in this next one. 2 dudes who could absolutely implode at any moment in a fight. Light heavyweights, Jimmy Crute, Alonzo Menifield. Somebody gonna die? Probably.
I bet it happening last time. I took Menifield inside. I took Menifield round 1. Those were kind of close. There was a chance there. And now that they rebooked this fight, it's like almost $1 less for inside the distance and almost $2 less on round 1. So I'm just going to let this be. Jimmy Crute's the better guy, but he can be hit, and sometimes Menifield hits people. So I think Jimmy Crute gets Menifield down a little bit more and probably snatches a sub late.
Yeah, I was on Menifield as well in that first match. If he started punching, I don't know, 10 seconds earlier in the first round, then he probably would have got him out of there.
Yep.
Or was it the second? He dropped him in both, didn't he?
Both.
Yeah. That's fun. That's good stuff. Yeah, it's I don't know. Draw at 8,000.
Do it again. Let's do it again, folks.
It is the type of fight where we always say a draw is live because, you know, Menifield's live for a massive round 1 and then to gas and lose rounds 2 and 3. Or I guess not in this spot after seeing the first fight. There's not really a universe where he wins round 1 and 2 and then gets 10-8'd in round 3.
No, but he definitely could drop him and almost finish him in round 1 and then gas and Crute wins rounds 2 and 3. But yeah, like I feel like both of these guys have many ways to create a draw here. We got some fouling going on. We got the chance for big rounds from either side, and then the other guy could take over. That's not a bad bet, I don't think, in this fight, which is funny.
I guess maybe the smart bet here, based on seeing how many takedowns Crute got and how much top control he got without getting a finish. Yep. Crute by decision is like plus 600 at some spots.
Ooh.
Let's
go.
I don't hate that.
Bad.
So maybe that'll be something that I look at in this spot. But again, 2 guys that are very hard to trust in basically any circumstances, but that seems like something that could get the juices flowing for me. Women's strawweight division. I'm told that old Yasmin Uragai is entertaining to watch. She had like a random fight. Her debut fight was on a main card, and people went nuts about it. I still didn't go back and watch it because I'm a terrible MMA fan. And then she got another win against Estela Nunes in her most recent appearance. But she is taking on the inimitable Denise Gomes. Yeah, you heard that right, folks. And she's minus 400. So, split decision?
I don't hate it. Well, I don't just automatically just don't hate it. Just play it. Yeah, you're a guy. I was got hype. She did get clipped in the last fight, and Gomes can strike a bit. So your guy is obviously the better fighter, but weird shit happens in women's MMA. I don't know. I don't hate the split.
I'm trying to see if they've
Posted
got
it yet?
that number up over at
That might be a
DraftKings.
Thursday or a Friday put up for something that.
I don't know. It's pay-per-view. Sometimes
Yeah.
they
That's true.
and this is, one of the more major prelims, I would say.
Yep.
Let's
They're
see.
trying
We've
to
got
make
totals.
it to be anyway.
Fight props. Fight to be won by split or majority decision plus 500.
Man, anytime that's like 4 or more, you should probably just play it.
Yeah. You've got the chance that the fight is actually competitive, or you've got the chance that one out of the 3 judges is just on absolute crack that night, which always a possibility. We're in Vegas, so Adelaide Bird might be there. Sal's gonna be there, so you've got your chances for a judge to just absolutely be off their rocker. But anyways, we digress. Moving on. This is where we start to see some matchups go sideways. Welterweight division. Jack Della Maddalena, future champ, allegedly, even though he cannot grapple to save his life. He is taking on something called Josiah Harrell. He is the muscle hamster.
Cool.
Muscle hamster.
Cool. Once again, UFC doesn't want a current UFC fighter to come in on short notice, so they signed this guy up. He probably shouldn't be in the UFC. I mean, I know he's got a undefeated record, but he's beaten up guys with 500 records. I guess that's better than guys that are 0-7, but Jack Della Maddalena is very good, and I don't think this is the spot where he's going to get out grappled. He's probably going to light this dude on fire.
Yeah, this guy's at this point, guys are just using these short notice spots to get in the UFC.
Yep.
I mean,
Get one
it's
more
nothing really that new. But this dude's a lightweight. I think his last fight was a catch weight because it was in LFA. I remember seeing that. But it was a catch weight of 162. So he went up a few pounds for that one. And now he's going up to 170 to fight a pretty damn good boxer in the UFC. So I don't know. Maybe if Maddalena's grappling is as bad as I think it is, the muscle hamster can just power him up for a takedown and hop on his back or something like that. But I think that's more just wishful thinking than any actual possible result. Because in all likelihood, this is going to be 2 guys that look like they're in very different weight classes, look like they have very different skill levels, and the fight plays out just as I described it. So not fun. There's a reason that Maddalena is minus 1,000 in this spot. And I hate when the UFC does shit like this, but the featured prelim, Nico Price taking on former champion, one of everyone's favorite welterweight title runs, or any title runs. I think everyone was behind Robbie Lawler, except maybe Lance, because he smoked Josh Koscheck on the way to the title. But ruthless Robbie Lawler, one last time.
Yeah, I think it might get sad on Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, when Brian Barberina is doubling you in strikes landed and thrown, it's not a very good sign. Nico Price has a lot more power than Brian Barberina. Nico Price can get hit. That chin has shown up from time to time, so maybe Robbie can land a bomb. I unfortunately don't think that's gonna happen, and like it might look sad on Saturday with Nico Price just throwing so much more and eventually clipping him and putting him away. Why couldn't they just do the rematch with like Matt Brown as a retirement fight? That'd been cool.
I'm still not sure that would have gone well for this version of Lawler.
You might not be wrong, but at least it would be old men doing it.
That's very true. Yeah, it's we've talked about it several times on this show, but there are two versions of shot. There is can't take a punch shot, and there's can't throw a punch shot. And the only time over the past, I don't know, 5 years that Lawler has shown that he is willing to throw a punch was against Nick Diaz, who is there to be hit. And that was just like one of those old man fights. I'm trying to think, like, a better fight for Lawler would be bringing fat Johnny Hendricks out of retirement, doing the trilogy with him. Like, make these old dudes fight each other instead of making them fight young guys, especially young guys that are going to be aggressive and come forward and bring the fight to them. I want for everything in me to find a way to bet on Robbie Lawler in this spot at plus 200 or more. And Nico Price is one of the mookiest mooks that ever mooked. So if there was a guy to do it against, it would probably be him. And I still can't even find my way there. So yeah, it's going to be Nico Price and a whole lot of sadness leading into the main card, where we're going to get just an absolute bludgeoning of epic proportions. And I say this, I've never seen Val Woodburn fight. I'm not going to go and watch him fight. Well, I guess I'm going to watch him fight on Saturday, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you knew they weren't going to give anybody good to Bo Nickal on short notice. But again, like you said, can we at least find somebody on the roster? We don't have to go to wherever Val Woodburn is fighting out of, Combat Night Pro, whatever the hell that is. What are we doing here, Sean?
This guy signed with one of the, I don't know, 3 or 4 managers that manages all the fighters in the UFC, and
Yep.
he could make 185, so that's what we're doing.
Is he actually a? Okay, yeah. It looks like he's at least actually a 185er or higher.
Yep.
He's had some lightweight fights, some catch weights above 185. So, yeah, sure.
We were gonna get like the price on Bo Nickal was high, but him inside was like minus 400, minus 450 against Tresean Gore. And you could just put that in damn near all your parlays. But now he's fighting this guy, and the total is 1.5, and it's minus 425. So, yeah, this is. I guess the only thing you're going to be able to bet on is if it's going to be KO or sub, and both of them probably will be minus numbers.
It's sad, but like that is very true. Which do you think it's going to be, for the record?
I mean, I tried last time to get him by KO just because it was, plus 200 or something, but it seems like it's the choke, and so I'm assuming sub is going to be much higher priced, but that's probably the way it's going to go.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, he's already sub 2 better guys than this in his career.
It's just takedown arm triangle. Like, it's just so easy for him.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe we'll see what MGM offers as the Bo Nickal within 60 seconds line. Because I know they like to do those, but I'm sure even that's only going to be like plus 300 or something on this fight. So could be a tricky one. I remember on Contender Series, I missed one of those by like 2 seconds, which that one was annoying. Anyway, we're not going to spend any more time on that other than to say that Bo Nickal, he's coming for them. Future champ.
Yeah,
right?
As long as they don't pull out.
If everyone pulls out, he's just the champ by default, right?
Works for me.
I know Cumshot wants no piece of that dude.
No, he's chasing a 170 or an Usman. He's not chasing Bo Nickal.
Is he chasing anything? Like,
dude, like, I don't know if his shit with Kadyrov is doing something. I don't know if I don't know if the U.S. will allow him in the U.S. I don't know if he's been here. I don't think so recently. Because, I mean, they blocked Fury from coming to the U.S. and that was for being with that mob guy. I mean, would you be really surprised if it was the same way with the hazmat? So maybe they're just waiting for the Abu Dhabi card.
So, more important question. Do you think that they'll let Mac and Cheese in Brazil so he can go lose his belt to Dubronx?
He ain't going to Brazil. He don't want that Brazil.
He's a coward. Absolute coward.
Yeah. Abu Dhabi only, so he can get all the good hydration and all that stuff.
Can we start like a UFC SA? Just like have their own league for all the dudes that only fight in Saudi Arabia. Like, enough of these guys. Get out of here. You can't come to other parts of the world because you hang out with scumbags. Nobody cares. You don't count as a real person. Yeah, I'm sure that we're not going to... Remember when people said that Gumshot was going to be a 3-division champion? Just absolute galaxy brain.
He has one top 10 win at 170, and then he missed weight the next time. I don't know. He's got to fight. I do think he's good, but he's got to fight. I don't know if he's got Not long. I don't know if he's got long COVID. I don't know if he can't come to the US. I don't know what it is, but fucking fight, man. Like, stop talking shit. Figure out when you can fight and fight.
I don't know if he's got long COVID or not, but he's definitely got short penis.
Hey.
Moving on up, lightweight division. Dan Hooker still trying to do the thing. He's taking on Jalen Turner. I feel like there's some violence on deck here.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be tough for Dan Hooker. Had a decent and a good win last time out against a butt scooter that I threw a dart on by sub because I'm dumb. Jalen Turner, I mean, he was on a good run. Ran into Gamrot, which, I mean, a lot of people scored that fight for him. I thought he did well considering how good of a grappler Gamrot is. I don't think anybody that's a couple steps away from Gamrot are going to have much success against Jalen Turner. That dude is a beast. Like, he is fucking scary with the way he throws, and he makes the weight, and that dude is large, and he is going to put away Dan Hooker, and then maybe Dan Hooker should retire and just coach. 'Cause he's taken a lot of abuse in a short amount of time. So might be good to call her quits at this point.
Yeah, I don't think at the point that Hooker is at, it starts to get better for you.
No.
We'll say that. Yeah, I think he gets smoked here. He's got somewhat similar length to Turner. I think he might actually have like a longer reach, but he certainly doesn't fight as long as Turner does. I think he's going to end up on the end of a lot of punches, a lot of kicks, and it's not going to take too long for Turner to land something that gets him out of there. So I know it's I don't love laying juice on inside props or anything like that. But Turner inside around minus 150, I think that's good here. I think you can probably parlay Turner as well. Maybe look at the under 2.5 if you want something that covers you on both sides. But like, what's Hooker supposed to do in this fight? Does he have to come out and wrestle?
He's got to put on the singlet because I don't think he can. He's an okay striker. I think he's a sharp striker, but the power difference in this fight is going to be absurd, and he's going to be shooting sooner rather than later when he feels Turner's power.
Well, and like Hooker used to have a little bit of quickness about him as well, and that's just gone. In his last few fights, he has looked very, very slow. I mean, even the dude that only knows how to do leg locks almost caught him a few times until people finally discovered that guy is completely clueless when it comes to striking or wrestling or anything else to do with MMA. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a tough look for Hooker in this one. I think that Turner gets him out of there and gets him out of there quick. What are the round props for that one?
You're looking at 2 or just early? Round 1.
Just early.
Round
Turner
1.
round 1 plus 215.
Plus 215 at old Unibet, the old Camby books. That is a off-market number. You should probably hit that. What's 200 at Betway?
There's 200s at Betway and Bovada. So there's a couple that are out there.
Not bad.
I don't know if it's going to be. I think it's going to be a TKO, but he's hurt guys and jumped on necks before, so he's one of those guys that it's really kind of hard to tell. But I think I'll throw something on some Turner round 1 at 200 or above. That's I don't think it's going to take long for him to find Dan Hooker's chin. Middleweight division. Now, card starts to get real good. Robert Whittaker, former champion, taking on the great African hope, DDP, Diamond Dallas Plessis, the diamond cutter himself. What's our boy Danton call him? Drickus Third Reichus.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's big line here, but Duplessis has a way of making fights just hilarious, win or lose.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get a good dosage of that here.
Yeah, like, if you're looking at this like straight, like Whittaker's obviously the much better fighter, looks to have much better cardio, much better grappling. The striking, I think he's obviously the better striker. Duplessis has more power. No shocker there. So Whittaker's got to have gotten old overnight, or Duplessis does, as you say, and makes things stupid and just lands a dumb shot. It's possible. The skill gap in this fight is very wide. I'm probably gonna have to put Whittaker in parlays. Unfortunately, him inside versus him by decision in the low plus 100s. So that's tough, because if he's doing well, then he's throwing a lot of volume. And if Drickus is getting hit, I don't know if he can last 5 rounds, but the last time that Whittaker finished a guy was in 2017. I was actually at that fight. I had bet Jauregui in that fight, and he got demolished by Whittaker. Then I got a picture with him at the airport, so that was decent. I think Whittaker wins. Not sure how he does it, so I'll probably just chalk him up.
Yeah, I think that's certainly the safe route.
The chaos route. What is the chaos route?
Well, I don't even think it's chaos. I'm just kind of thinking. Do you remember the Whittaker Brunson fight?
Yep.
I feel like this is going to be the Whittaker Brunson fight, but 15 minutes of it. You just got like one guy running forward, slanging whatever he can, and just getting smoked from every possible angle by the guy that is way better than him at everything. I just think that DDP can take it. So I might go with a little Whittaker decision. It's like plus 220 out there.
Really?
Yeah.
What was I looking at?
I don't know. What were you looking at?
Oh, yeah, it is plus 220. That's not terrible. Yeah, him inside's like only plus 115. Yeah, I wouldn't be playing him inside, that's for sure.
No, I would stay away from that, but I could certainly see Whittaker avoiding danger in this spot and just kind of countering all of the massive openings that Duplessis leaves for him. LR, it's Boer, Boer, like the Boer Wars, not Boer like the pig related animal. Little animal kingdom lesson there for you. Zoology, if you will, / history. But yeah, I think one of these guys is good at fighting, and one of these guys is good at being hilarious and making meme fights against Darren Till in 2022.
Duplessis KO is plus 500. Like if you're throwing a dart, you gotta, like, if you're playing Duplessis, you at least have to sprinkle that, because I do think that's his path to victory.
It has to be, right?
Is there a way for him to win 2 out of 3 rounds against Robert Whittaker? I have a hard time seeing that, because for him to win, he's probably going to have to drop Whittaker, and to win, you're probably going to have to finish Whittaker. So if you're going to play Duplessis, play him KO at plus 500.
I would think that would be the way to go. Apologies, I assumed that English was your first language if you're listening to some knuckleheads like us on a podcast. Anyway, yeah, I think you're right about the DDP KO. If you are going that way, I most certainly am not. Whittaker in parlays or Whittaker decision, like I said, is probably the direction that I'm looking. Co-main event, flyweight title on the line. Brandon Moreno playing with his little Legos, probably wearing like jean shorts and stuff like that. He's taken on Alexandre Pantoja. He's been anointed forever. It's finally time for him to get his title shot, Sean. Does he make good on it?
I think he has a good chance. I'm a bit surprised by this number. Like, people have, Moreno's looked better. But I don't know. It's a weird thing when you fight the same guy like 4 times in a row. Or not quite, but 4 in the last 5 fights. These guys have fought twice before. Pantoja's a better grappler. Moreno might be able to get takedowns, but do you really want to play on the ground with Pantoja? When this is on the feet, yeah, I think Moreno is better. This number is just wide. I don't know if I've ever seen a trilogy. Now, I know their first fight was an exhibition, whatever. I've never seen a trilogy where the guy who won both times would be a plus 170 underdog, unless horrific things had happened to the guy who won, like a, I don't know, motorcycle accident or something like that.
I've got some bad news for you. Because I had an example that immediately sprung to mind.
Give it on me.
Rampage was like minus 250 against Wanderlei in the third fight. But Wanderlei did have like the horrific plastic surgery that happened to him and all that. And he was like 8 million years old by the time the third fight happened.
Those dudes were washed, Brad. That doesn't stop. You can't just totally run my shit when you're talking about absolutely washed Rampage and Wanderlei. These guys are in their prime. They're fighting for the third time. I just think that number's wide. I think Pantoja can make this a dirty fight, and on the ground, I think he can out-grapple him. And you do not want that guy on your back, because he usually finishes guys. So I put 1.5 units on Pantoja, so he's fucked at plus 175.
You know what? I might have actually been wrong. I was looking at the line for their Bellator fight.
Their fourth fight.
They fought for a 4th time in Bellator.
Sad times. That was prime Bellator days, wasn't it?
When
Brad?
they fought for the 3rd time, I just pulled it up. UFC 92, Wanderlei minus 135. So even then, still the favorite. Perfect. You are absolutely correct about everything that you said on this fight, without me pulling you off into tangents.
That's okay. We needed a detour.
Old ass washed dudes. Yeah, Brandon Moreno has improved a ton since the first 2 times that these guys fought. But the fact is, they've still fought twice before, and Pantoja has won both of them. One of them was on The Ultimate Fighter, and I think that Moreno did better than everyone thought he was going to do in that fight. And then the other one was, if you watch that fight and you see Moreno trying to wrestle and getting out kickboxed and not really being able to wrestle even when he got takedowns, I'm not sure what you expect him to do in this fight. Maybe he can drag it into the championship rounds and Pantoja is going to get tired, but is Pantoja going to get tired from defending a couple takedowns around and winning the striking? I don't understand the line. I don't understand. I guess people are just looking at, oh, he was really good against Davison in a bunch of fights, and he looked okay-ish against old Steve France in that fight.
He was losing that fight until he
that
landed
wasn't a
that
great
shit.
one.
No.
So I like Pantoja here. I think in our year preview, we both picked Pantoja to be champion at the end of the year. I think Lance and Wes might have joined us, which is very rare for all 4 of us to not only agree on who we think is going to be champion, but agree on a person who isn't actually champion at that time. And I'm sticking with it. I'm going Pantoja. We're down to what, plus 165 is the number. Oh no, plus 175 at Caesars, unless that's moved since I've refreshed my screen. Nope. Plus 175 at Caesars is the best line that's out there at the moment. That is what we're going to be going with for the new champion and the consensus bet of the week. He's going to make all the Mexicans where LR is hanging out just miserable. Absolutely miserable. It's going to start their misery for that night. But Pantoja going to be the new flyweight champion of the world. And hopefully he doesn't have to fight Brandon Moreno 6 times before he can move on to other competitors. Moving on. Main event of the evening. Allegedly a unification belt. Because for some reason, Yair Rodríguez has a fake belt. But Alexander Volkanovski defending his featherweight title against Yair Rodríguez. It's crazy that they put all these Mexicans on the card, but didn't have this event in like San Diego or like San Antonio or like somewhere a little bit closer. But hey, maybe they'll show up to Las Vegas to cheer on their little Mexican fellas. But we have a featherweight title clash between one of the pound for pound best fighters in the sport and a guy who throws some spinny shit. Sean?
He does. That spinning shit has cost me some money. I will never forget. It adds that I was live when he knocked out Korean Zombie with a couple seconds left while losing.
It seems like bad things happen when you're live.
I know. I lose money. I don't know if I've had a winning night ever when I was live. And yeah, just bad things happen. Volkanovski is extremely good. very good showing against Mac and Cheese. Yair can land stupid shit. He's decent off his back, but I think Volkanovski is gonna smash this dude. If Max Holloway is taking you down and getting almost 7 minutes of control time, I think Volkanovski is gonna toss you on your head. Could Volk get caught? It's possible. It almost happened in the Ortega fight, but the skill gap here is fairly large. But Yair has the fucking wild shit that can come out. The subs from bottoms and the spinning shit that somehow lands. I think that's kind of the only way he's going to win here, because Volkanovski is an unbelievable striker and he can mix up the grappling too. So it's going to be Volk. And I think Volk he's been trying to push for some finishes. I know he's kind of been a bit of a decision machine, but seems like in his last couple, he's been taking a bit more risks. Hopefully that doesn't cost him, but I could definitely see him getting him out of there. It's only plus 160, and Yair is a very durable guy, so it's probably not worth a shot at that price. But I think Volkanovski gets him out of there late.
Yeah, I wish I could find somewhere to disagree, but I think Volk could honestly do the old Frankie Edgar treatment to Yair in this one. And, he's had a sub, like he got a triangle in his last fight, but this dude's not going to win if he's on his back against Volkanovski. You're not going to sub that dude. He's a tree stump. Like, I don't really see the path outside of something crazy landing for Yair. He's way better than I thought he was a couple of years ago.
Took him a while.
What was that?
Took him a while, though.
Well, yeah, he had to, take a couple years off and go and train at altitude. And then suddenly he came back and was able to have the cardio to get his ass beat by Max Holloway for 25 minutes and still look good. Yeah.
People overhype that performance. Like, I think we talk about it all the time when a guy's a big favorite and the other guy does some okay stuff. Everybody kind of just amplifies it. But Max, that was a great performance by Max there.
It very much was. But even since then, or not since then, but before then, no contest against Jeremy Stephens. Pretty competitive fight against Jeremy Stephens. Disappeared for a couple of years. Got the shit beaten out of him by Max, but threw some offense back at him along the way. Shoulder injury against Ortega. And I guess you can say he's partly responsible for that, but I don't know how much you can actually claim that.
I bet him. I'll cash the check, but I don't know about that.
And then he fought Emmett, and he was just like light years faster than Emmett in that fight. So I don't know. Is he going to be light years faster than Volk in this fight? I don't think so. He's probably going to be a little bit faster, but Volk is so good technically, so good at finding holes in guys' games that he's just going to be able to neutralize that. If he gets in tight and gets his hands on Yair, I think Yair's going for a ride. And over the course of 25 minutes, he's definitely going to figure out all of the holes and tells in all of the wacky shit that Yair throws. So I like Volk here. I think there's some really, I know last week was big dogs cashing all over the place. I think that aside from the co-main event where we like the Pantoja, I think there's a lot of chalk to be had this week. You can pretty much throw them all at the board, and I think a lot of them are going to stick for you. So perhaps not the most exciting card from a betting perspective, but still a pretty damn good card in terms of the actual quality of the fights. So that is our UFC 290 preview. Hey, if Lance was on, he would be pretty happy right now because
back to back, baby.
2 winners in a row. I'll let Lance talk about golf after he wins a golf bet any week, but he doesn't show up anymore. So I'm sure that the next time he shows up, it'll be coming off a golf loser. Go over to his Twitter, whatever it is, Lance Official 5 or whatever. I think he's got some John Deere plays that I need to lock in before I go to bed tonight.
Yep.
But yeah, we don't talk about that shit when he's not around. Nobody cares. Just the real stuff. Lacrosse and hockey. And
yeah.
Tour de France. Incredible. I love the Tour de France. It's great workday viewing. Sean, do you get into the cycling?
I don't, and I don't really have a extra screen at work where I can be watching the Tour de France. So I usually just bet things that you say, and they seem to work out sometimes. So
I haven't. Well, I did some stuff. I can't give away my secrets for the old tour because I don't want them to catch on. But
of course.
But there's a good angle that some folks in Ontario here have. Wimbledon? Are you into the Wimbledon?
I will, but it's been raining the whole fucking time.
If it ever starts, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I haven't watched too much Wimbledon, but for the dead sporting months of the summer, not a bad time right now.
Nope.
July's all right. It's when you get into August that things start to really take a downturn. But we'll start to pile on our hockey futures once we get into August, so it won't all be bad.
I don't know if we're going to have a podcast next week. I won't be available next week, and we maybe should boycott that fucking fight card because it is hands down the worst card that I've ever seen the UFC put on in the last 8 to 10 years. And that is not a overstatement.
No, we've said that a lot.
Yep.
Over the past couple of years that, this is the worst card ever.
No.
Folks, no joking, no hyperbole. Next week's card, worst card ever. I'm going to be taking the RV and probably driving up to, I don't know, some back ass neck of the woods and drinking some beer and doing some hiking. I will not be watching next week's card. I can guarantee you that. Anniversary weekend, if the wife caught me watching Holly Holm in a main
for
event
5 rounds, baby,
on the anniversary weekend, done for. It's over. So that's not going to be happening. No. So I think maybe no podcast next week, and we're in the midst of the 12 weeks in a row. So we will be back after that, and you guys know where to find us. Otherwise, on the Twitter machine, on the new Facebook, Instagram, Meta thread. That's a thing now. Sign up for it. But we've got good MMA this weekend. Enjoy it.